Out to the Nuggets. KD had 23 points on 8 of 19 shooting, 0 attempts from 3. Devin Booker had by far his worst shooting and scoring night of these playoffs. 4 of 13 from the floor, only 12 points for Book. Shannon, who's most to blame for last night's collapse?
Well, Monty bears some culpability. I know he's beloved around the league, Skip, and from everything that I've heard when people talk about him, they talk about him in glowing terms.
Glowing.
But he bears a lot of culpability in this situation.
Yeah.
You had a 2-0 lead against the Milwaukee Bucks, and you lost that series 4-2.
Mm-hmm.
You were down in an elimination game, Game 7.
Yeah.
You were down 30 at the half.
At the half.
In your building. This year, facing elimination, Game 6. You're down 30 at the half.
30?
The 2 largest halftime deficits in Suns history has happened on your watch. And to say he bears no culpability is just not true. Also like to put the notion, Nikola Jokic is the best center in the universe.
He's not.
If you walk around, if you stand upright and you can dribble a basketball and you play the center position,
yeah.
Can't nobody see Yoke right now. Can't nobody see him, not even with the Hubble telescope. And you can see on Jupiter with the Hubble telescope. So you,
DeAndre Ayton couldn't see him.
no, don't do that, Skip. Don't do that. Don't do that, Skip.
Yeah.
That might have been a blessing. Skip, we talked about this. I said, Skip, do you believe Book and KD can keep up these type of efforts for 6, 7 games? I say, do you understand? People don't understand how well Book was shooting. We've seen guys get 40 points, but we ain't seen guys get 40 points shooting 80%. We've seen guys get high 30s, but not shooting 78%. And KD, I was like, how long can they keep this up, Skip? You're like, I'm saying they're going to have to. And then they're still going to need a third option. Well, you got your third option. Campaign gave you 31.
Yep.
Campaign had outscored at the half. I mean, Caldwell Pope had outscored at the half what KD and Book had put together at the half. I knew they were in trouble when KCP got the ball and did an up and under layup with reverse English on it. I said, y'all in trouble. I said, y'all in trouble. And that was before Yoke got going. Because KCP couldn't miss like his first 8 shots. He had like 19 points. I'm like, damn, what? That's you, KCP?
Yeah.
Skip, you got to stop this notion. Now, for the longest time, I've had to sit up here and listen to you. And I've heard a lot of people say this. You drop Kevin Durant on any team. There's only one man that you've been able to drop on any team.
Yep.
And he's an anomaly. So you got to stop this. Now, everybody gonna say, well, they didn't play together. Nobody said they didn't play together when they was dropping 80 points between the two of them. Oh, look how good they look. When they was dropping 70s, dropping high 60s. Nobody mentioned a thing. Now they get blown out. Well, we got to stop making excuses. We got to stop making excuses for Monty Williams, no matter how much we love him. I don't know the man, Skip. No, don't know him from a can of paint. But he bears a lot of responsibility. KD and Book, they didn't Skip. An elimination game, when facing elimination, last night, Devin Booker was 12 points, 4 of 13, 1 of 3. He was minus 27.
Yep.
Against the Mavericks, he had 11 points, 3 of 14, 0 of 4 from the three-point line,
Yep.
minus 41 in plus minus.
He was.
Against the Bucks in 2021, facing elimination, 19 points, 8 of 22, 0 of 7, minus 15. Those are the facts. Now, we can get a conjecture and innuendo and speculation all we want to, but those are the facts. Games when they need Devin Booker to do what he did in Game 3, and Game 4, we're not seeing that. So, like you said about James Harden, okay, we know what you did on the Game 1, we know what you did on the Game 4, but what about Game 6?
Yep.
What about Game 7s? Skip, there's enough blame, but your 3 big guns, Monty Williams, your head coach, KD and Book, they bear culpability for this loss. I told you from when you said, Phoenix, we got up there, Skip, we got the news that Kevin Durant had been traded. And you came out there, you say, Phoenix, I think you. I said, Skip, these guys, what about the health? I said, KD not going to be able to play for another 2 weeks because he's injured.
Yep.
Devin Booker got a hamstring issues. CP3, Skip, you already know what happens to CP3 in the playoffs. I say, Skip, injuries.
It's like clockwork.
Look, I ain't trying to put no bad, but I just had to okay, let's look at this thing realistically. We talk about guys that body have been broken down, especially over the last 3 to 4 years, more so than normal. Monty, I'm giving Monty 55% of it, and I'm giving KD and Book the rest of it.
And I cannot fight you today on that. I don't even know where to start with assessing blame because it weighs heavy on every head in this locker room, but it starts with those three. Now, let's go big picture. I got to address everything you just said.
Okay.
This is what I do know about what Kevin Durant did do as opposed to what James Harden has never done. As you know, July 4, 2016.
Yes.
The Golden State Warriors decided we just can't beat that guy in Cleveland anymore. He came back on us from 3-1 down. They're trying to do the same, get even with him right now as we speak. But he did come back with some help from Kyrie. And we collapsed. We folded. Steph came up even smaller than he is in games 5, 6, and 7, 2 of which were in his house at Oracle. And he led the brigade all the way across country out to the tip of Long Island to recruit, to get down on bended knee and beg Kevin Durant to please come save us. And to Kevin's credit, I didn't think he could do it because he had a lot of heat on him because he had left poor little Russ all alone, his little brother in Oklahoma City, after they had a 3-1 lead over Golden State.
Correct.
And he joined forces with Steph and Clay and Draymond.
Right.
And Steve Kerr. And you know what happened? He backed it up. Back-to-back MVPs in the finals.
Yeah, but
okay?
Skip,
But he did that.
Golden State.
Okay, but
we've seen him at 2 locations right now.
Okay, but I'm saying he was the MVP of back-to-back finals, and he was, to my eye, the best player on the floor. And in LeBron's house and back-to-back game threes, he took the games over and made big, late clutch shots both times to win those games. And that, in Kevin's mind, I believe, was his career. He was a made man. And you know what happened against Toronto the next year? He tore his Achilles tendon, and then it took him like 2 years to get back. Shannon, he's never been the same. Let's face up to it.
But when you say he's not the same, what do you mean the same?
His body language looks different to me now. He doesn't look like he really cares that much about winning. He cares about the work. He still has high work ethic. He likes to practice basketball. He likes to make himself better. He likes to stay in the lab through the offseason very quietly. He doesn't post a lot about it, but I think he works very hard at his craft.
Yeah,
he really enjoys that part of basketball. Whether they win or lose, to him, I think he doesn't care anymore because he got his 2 rings and he was the MVP to play for. And he's going to lose his job over this because I don't see how you can withstand the heat of these collapses.
And plus, there's a new ownership coming in.
They're in.
Okay,
yes,
okay, they're in. And they paid an absorbent amount of money. And they said, look at what we gave up to get Kevin Durant. We gave up Bridges, we gave up Cam Johnson, we gave up 4 picks, we gave up pick swaps.
They did. They bet their entire future on this man.
We stuck like a song on repeat. So what are we gonna do?
And that owner, Matt Ishbia, was sitting in the front row. He wasn't up in a box. He's up close and personal, right?
God, it was him.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Matt Ishbia, who played basketball at Michigan State for Tom Izzo, still very close with Tom Izzo. You don't think they're having conversations? Coach, what did you see? Well, I don't know about your big guy, right?
Oh, yeah, DeAndre Ayton, well, they should have let Skip. Yeah. They should have just went ahead and moved him at the deadline.
Okay.
He doesn't want to be there, Skip.
Clash with Monty, and nobody ever clashes with Monty.
All the time, but all the time.
It got so bad in that wipeout Game 7 last year against Dallas at home, they were screaming at each other in the third quarter. Remember, Monty, for the first time, to my knowledge, in his career, yanked a player and sat him at the end of the bench and said, "You're not going back in." His starter, DeAndre Ayton.
Right.
And then they gave Ayton his money, and they were supposed to coexist, and it never quite clicked. Okay,
look, and Skip, I think the thing is, look, the rib contusion, and like I said, I've had rib issues, and so I don't know the severity of it. But when you get a player like Ayton, and at the slightest, he's not willing to fight through it.
I agree.
Skip, and like I said, it's just time to move on.
Right. Well, now you're stuck with a big contract. Can you move him? Is he movable?
Yeah, I think you can move. I think somebody's looking for a 7-footer.
All right, okay. Now back to Kevin Durant. I've never seen anything like this from him because he is the most efficient superstar we have ever seen.
Yeah.
He can score more points on fewer shots than anybody ever. It's historical. The numbers he put up in the regular season this season were historical.
Remember, he was the first 55, 40, 90. He shot 55.
55. Okay. And then he had a great Game 1 in this series. He was pretty good against the Clippers, but it was just the Clippers without Kawhi and Paul George. Okay. He had a good game one. And then I start looking at the numbers starting in game 2 against Denver, and they're horrendous. Shannon.
He's shooting terrible from the floor.
10 of 27, 12 of 31, 10 of 24, and then last night 8 of 19. And from 3 for over the last, what would it be, 5 games, he went 5 of 24 from 3. You're going to lose. The other team is really, really good. They've been the 1 seed the whole year. We get it.
Yes.
But I thought maybe they could just shoot them out of the gym. And the reason this was so sad for me last night is I know for a fact Chris Paul was on course, a done deal. He was going to play in Game 7. I believe they missed him in this series. I believe they missed his stability, just his coach on the floor. You know, he can be the Monty on the floor.
Right.
He can get them situated. He can get the 2 wings in places where they need and want the basketball. And instead of Book trying to play point guard, or maybe Cameron Payne, who weirdly had a great game last night in a 30-point, like,